Welcome back to Mark's Racing Engines, Mark and Missy's Performance. Today, we're going to see if we can fix some massive cracks in a small block 400. Some of you are going to say this, oh my God, this is not ever going to work. Oh my God, you can't do that. Yes, you can, because I've done it a million times before. It will work just fine. Where the cracks are at is a little iffy, but it's not boosted, it's not nitrous. It's in a part of the block to where I feel comfortable repairing this. It'll be repaired for a long time. I've done it a million times before. It is very time consuming to do it the way we're going to do it. It is very, I don't know if you want to say it's cost effective, but I'm going to show you the tools you need to do this, where you can buy them at, and how to do this if you want to repair these yourself. Small block 400s are pretty much getting, stock ones are getting to where they're unobtainium. They're hard to find. You can't find them anymore. And yeah, you could go out and buy a Dart SHP block. But this is for one of my viewers. I'm cutting him a good deal on repairing this crack. If he was to take this and get it done at a machine shop, or even bring it down here, I mean, I'm going to charge you $200 to $300 to fix these, to repair these cracks. I'm doing this because he's a YouTube viewer and he asked me, and it make good content. We're going to build this engine as a budget build, and we're trying to stay in his budget. And to stay in his budget, we need this block to be repaired. So, that being said, it's a good block. It's a 4-bolt main, 400. So, I'm going to show you these cracks. I'm going to catch a lot of hell in the hater comments. I'm going to tell y'all all this right here if you don't like it. So we'll be back, and we're going to get this party started. Alright guys, so I got the block set up here. I'm going to try to get a couple of different camera angles on this. I'm not that great of a videographer, as you all know. This is our block in question. I don't know if y'all can see that. There's our crack. I'll try to zoom in on it. Oop, wrong way. Right there. Right along here. Now, if this was a nitrous motor or a really high compression motor or something with a bunch of boost, I probably wouldn't do this repair. This repair is, this engine is going to be basically stock. It's going to have a mild cam in it, and it's basically going in a 4-wheel drive truck. So, I'm not too concerned with it. As far as, if the block was cracked from, say, here to here, well then, then I might be a little more worried about it. Let me back up. Yeah, so if the block was cracked, say from here to over here in the webbing here, or the motor mount webbing here, I would maybe be concerned with it. I'm not that concerned because of where it's at and how long it is. It's only a few inches long. It's only going to be affecting one bolt hole, and I really don't think it's going to be a problem. I fixed several of them that have been like this. Never had one come back. So, first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to throw the Magnafluxer on here and actually identify both ends of the crack, and then we're going to drill it, and then we're going to pin it, and then we're going to pressure test it. So, I guess the first thing I need to do is actually put the plate on it, put the freeze plugs in it, and go ahead and pressure test it. Now, there's also another crack on the other side of this block that is right between, let me see if I can get it in the camera shot. Right there, it's showing up pretty good. It's right between these two freeze plugs. That's a common problem, common crack. That's an easy fix right there. No worries. The tricky part about this crack is to keep the machine surface. I'm actually going to have to put a pin in this way, sideways, this way, sideways, so I don't affect this machine surface here. We'll get to all that. So right now what we're going to do is put the plate on it, go ahead and pressure test the other side, And I'll be back when I have the plate on. Now this is actually the 350 plate. I guess I could put the 400 plate on it. Nah, for this I'll just go ahead and put the 350 plate on it for right now. Let's do what we got to do here. And then I'll pour it on it with the 400 plate. Alright, so now that we have that done, we've got the torque plate bolted on. We're going to loosen the engine stand up. Now we're going to turn it over and we're going to look at this crack. We're going to get the Magnaflux machine over here. Okay, so let's Magnaflux that. See exactly where it begins and ends. I was going to go ahead and pressure test it, but we know it's cracked. So we're going to at least repair this one crack, and then we'll go back and see if we can find any more. The reason I put the torque plate on there was to induce any stresses that might be present. Okay, so clean that off, see if I can get a better. Okay, so that crack stops right there on that end. Now, to you guys, that probably looks like a massive crack. And it is a pretty big crack, but it's not that bad. So, now a lot of people will tell you to drill a hole in both ends. There's only one problem with that. You don't know where your pins are going to begin and where they're going to end. So, unless you're using the lock and stitch and you have the actual fixture, I don't recommend doing that. So what we're going to do is we're going to punch both ends, and we're going to drill one end, and we're going to start pinning from one end to the other end. You've got to leave yourself a little bit of clearance now, because you have to understand there's a cylinder is right behind that, and you don't have a lot of room in some spots to get the tap in there. So you got to be really careful. So here we go. Now I'm going to put a punch just past where the crack stops. Same thing over here. Ow! Don't laugh too hard. Alright. Now, like I said, we don't have a lot of room. I think I'm probably going to start from this end, and these pins are actually going to be kind of angled down. Okay, we're going to start out with an 11/64 drill bit. I want to try to get the smallest I can in there. If that doesn't work, we're going to go with a 3/16. The idea is where we're up against the cylinders real close here, we don't have a lot of room to put these pins. So like I say, I'm going to angle this kind of downward, and use a small drill bit I'm also using the Ironite 200, and when we get down here, we'll probably use the 235s because they're a little bigger and they'll cover a little more area. Now don't get them confused now, because if you use the wrong taps or the wrong pins, let me show you. I think I went over this in another video, but this is a 235 pin. Am I in the camera shot there? Yeah. This is a 235 pin. This is a 200 pin. And I don't know if you can see the difference. There's a slight bit of difference there. The 200 pin is a little bit smaller. You don't want to use a 235 tap for a 200 or vice versa. If you do, it will leak. So, there we go. Now, let's see if I can screw this up on camera. Man, could that drill bit be any duller? Good Lord. Alright, so that's our first hole. See how deep we can go here before we hit something. So I'm actually going to mark that drill bit. Just to give me a general idea, so I can transfer that to the tap to give me a general idea of how deep we can actually go. You do not want to get up against something with one of these taps. They will break really, really easy. Now, what I drive these taps with is just a square-headed socket. Man, I got this in an old socket set years ago. It's a 1/4-inch square head. This one's about wore out. You don't hardly see these a lot anymore. And I had a viewer on the last video bitch at me because he said I didn't use any cutting fluid. I did. I just did it off camera. So we're gonna make sure we put our tapping oil in there. And these taps are so sharp, they tap extremely easy. But if you feel any resistance at all, stop, because you will break the tap. Okay, we're going to stop right there. We're getting pretty close to the end. And of course I'm unprepared. I don't have the air hose over here. You want to look down inside of it and make absolutely sure you went all the way to the bottom of that. Make sure you clean your tap. Now before we actually do this, now a lot of these, like if I'm doing a fix in a critical area, I will use a special epoxy along with the Loctite. Now I hope I'm getting a good shot of that hole. I can't tell. Okay, so we're going to test fit this pin and see how far it goes down. I'm satisfied with that. It goes down pretty far. Yeah, so you can see you've got, I don't know, I'm not looking at the camera, so maybe I should turn this thing where I can see it. You got about that much pin in there. What we're going to do now, we're going to clean all that oil out of the hole. We're going to clean it off the pin. We're going to dry that out. Now I have another socket that is just for the pin itself. Now I'm using orange Loctite, and I like orange Loctite because it seems to seal these things up better than red Loctite does. And it's 081, 41. And that's what I use. I use it on sleeves too. Come on now. You want to tighten that up. You don't want to break. Like I can feel right there, it's about to break. But you want it as tight as you can get it. Like I said, out here if it breaks off, it's no big deal. But if you're doing something like valve seat or something like that and you break it off, well, that's bad, because sometimes it'll break below the surface. Matter of fact, I think I'm just going to go ahead and break this one off. There we go. Alright. Like I say, if you're doing a valve seat or something like that, don't break it off. Cut it, cut a relief cut, get it as tight as you can without breaking it, cut it, and then break it off above the surface. This one actually broke off above the surface, which is a good thing. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to find my crack again, which I can actually see it. It's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a punch mark right next to that. We're going to drill halfway through that pin, make another hole. So we're going to get right next to it. Damn it. Okay. Right there. And you don't want to get it too close, because if you do, you're just going to basically eat up half the other pin. But you don't want to get too far away so you're not intersecting, because these pins need to tie into each other. Like I said, if you're using the lock and stitch system, it's got a little and I have the lock and stitch too, but if you're using it, it's got a little fixture you put on there, and it staggers the holes so it makes them perfect. The problem is when you get into a crack like this where it's rounded off, it doesn't work. I'm going to have to change drill bits, I can tell you right now. See, we're just barely intersecting with that other pin, and that's exactly what we want. Alright, so Now, a lot of people say, oh, you're supposed to go in and back up. Not with these taps. These taps are not designed. These taps, you just keep on tapping. Right, let's see how. Now, if you notice, let me pan in here. It's hard for me to see on this camera what y'all are seeing. Oh, too close. But if you notice, I don't know how well y'all can see that on the camera, but if you notice, we actually have threads on the pin that we just put in, and that's what we want. We want the threads to be on this pin, that you want them to intersect. That one there is just about perfect. You can move over a little bit more if you want to, but you don't want to waste pins, and the further you move over, the more pins you're going to waste. Setting shit everywhere, can't find it. Lock that in our hole. Drop that on the pin. And no, I didn't test fit it. I should have, but I know that it'll be just fine. Now it's just rinse and repeat from here. You just keep following that crack down till you get to the end. Like I said, I can see the crack very well right there. So, punch it again. Alright guys, I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to cut you off because I don't know how much battery my camera's got. I'll cut you back on when we get towards the end. Finally broke the damn drill bit. It's alright, we got through. I knew I was going to break that Harbor Freight drill bit. This one we can go just a little bit further. Man, look at these Sharpies. Every one of my Sharpies are doing this now. Y'all do that? Oh, let me get that in the camera. Where the hell is it? Right there. See that? The damn lid. Here. Oh. Zoom y'all out. Every one of my Sharpies do this right here. Crazy. Don't make. Now, you don't want to break one of these damn taps because they're $100. You will wear them out, but it takes a long time. It takes a very long time to wear these things out. And that tap, you just, I mean, it'll just glide through there. It cuts like butter. That's why you got to be careful getting them too deep, because if you do and you hit something and it gets in a bind, snap, it snaps off. Number one, they're a bitch to get out because they're made out of carbide. And number two, well, then you don't have a tap anymore. See, like right there, I feel resistance. I'm not going to go any more. That got us in pretty deep, so. Tap it off. Ready to hold out. This one we are going to test it. It's a little bit shallower than the other ones. I think that'll be fine. And what we're looking for, we don't want the pin to bottom out on the bottom, because if it does, it's not actually getting tight. And sometimes you'll have to come in and trim the bottom of these things off. So like right there, that pin is tightened and it's still tightening up. So. Oh yeah, that's plenty. That's plenty. Okay. And you notice we're in our other pin ever so slightly. That's what we want. Alright guys, it's just rinse and repeat from here. I'm not going to show me doing the whole thing. I'll come back when I get to the end. I'll come back when we get down here a little bit where I've got more clearance. Because then I'm going to switch to the 235 pins, because they'll take up more of the crack and won't have to use as many of them. Right now I'm using the 200 pins, the small pins, just because I don't have a whole lot of room between the cylinder and the block. Matter of fact, I can't even feel all the way back in there. So I'm trying to be what do you call it? Careful. Anyway, we'll be back. Alright guys, so we've gotten this far. I've switched to the 235 pins now, the little bigger pins, because I have more room under here, and I can actually, I'm still going to drill it kind of an angle, because it actually makes it a little bit stronger, and we'll keep it from trying to pull apart as easy. So I've also switched to a 3/16 drill bit. Get that kissing thing out of the way. And I broke 2 drill bits. Yay! Harbor Freight. Maybe if I buy good drill bits that wouldn't happen, right? Alright, so we're still going to drill on kind of an angle here. drill bit was magnetized. I love it. As you can see, we've got quite a bit bigger hole there, but it covers more ground a little faster. So this is the 235 tap. And same thing, we're going to overlap the other one. Now this tap here it's a little duller than the last tap because I've probably put, I don't know, probably over 1,000, tapped 1,000 pinholes with this thing. But it still cuts pretty good. Now I can actually feel on the backside how close we're getting to hitting the cylinder. And these taps are designed so that if you go right up against something, the pin that you put in there will not bottom out. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the bottom there. And why am I going all the way to the bottom like that? Simply because the further out I go, the more ground it covers. So you can actually, if you're like, sometimes I'll use just the end of a pin and I'll cut it off, and then I'll have half that pin left over. And so a lot of times what you end up with is a piece of pin that's like that long, right, if I get in the camera there. And you can grind the end of that off, and if you can get the tap down far enough, you can use that. So, matter of fact, I try to get 2 uses out of 1 pin if I can. So, but in this situation, we're just going to okay. So, where did my ratchet go? There it is. Okay, a little rock tight. I think I'm still in the camera shot here yet. Why are you acting funny? There you go. Right. And like I said before, rinse and repeat. So I'm going to go ahead and go on down till we get to the last one, and then I'll cut y'all back on. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, this is what we've got done. I told you I'd cut you back on when I got to the last pin. We are, oops, I lost it. There it is. So we are right there. Now, here's the thing. When we put the last pin in, the last pin is going to go right here. If there's any more crack out here that we didn't catch with a Magnaflux, we're going to see it. So this may or may not be the last pin. We're going to find out. We're going to put this one in. It so happens that that's going to line me up right in the middle between my punch mark and the last part of that pin, and I guarantee you when I drill that it's going to cover that. We're going to find out. My lovely Harbor Freight drill. Oh, dang it. Come back here. Here, I'm going to zoom y'all out. I wonder if I was ever going to go through. Well, let's see. There's the edge of the crack, or at least the edge of the crack we could see with the Magnafluxer. So we're going to tap this and go all the way down yonder with it. See if we're going to catch that crack, and then when we put it in, we're going to see if it opens up anymore, because that happens quite often. Now, in that case, what I will do is I will go ahead and drill a hole wherever I find it stopped, and go backwards. Lose that thing. Go ahead and back it out, clean it off, clean the hole out too. That's pretty much the whole tap there. So, all right, clean that up. It appears I got the whole crack, but one way we can tell, I'm going to go ahead and clean this oil off of here. I don't know, I think I see a remnant of more crack there, but I don't know. We're going to find out here in just a second. Yeah, there's more crack there. Let me blow all this off right quick and I'll show you. Take the Magnafluxer. We're going to Magnaflux right there. Yeah. Yeah, I think that crack goes on out a little bit farther than what I marked it. Yes, it does. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Right there. Right there is where it stops. Right there. That's where it actually stops. Now that I've got some fluid in it, I can see that, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that right there and that's where we're going to go to. Punch, and looks like right about here. So. No, I may put the freeze plug in. We'll see though here when I. Yeah, I can see it. That's where it is, right there. Right there where I marked it. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Now that I magnafluxed it and sprayed it off, but. See it? Right there. Go. Okay, so we put the pin in here, and when we do, it's going to open that crack up a little bit. By the way, guys, this is why freeze plugs do absolutely no fucking good. It just, they just don't work. Okay. Right here. Alright, I'll cut y'all back on. I'm going to drill a few more holes here and alright guys, so I went ahead and I don't like doing this, and I'll tell you why. Because I went ahead and drilled the end of that crack and put a pin in it. I don't like doing that. Normally I will just continue on down, but because I was afraid that it might start splitting this cracking worse, I went ahead and drilled it. But the reason I don't like to do it is because you run into a situation sometimes, like we are right here. When you get to your last pin, you've got to calculate exactly how much, and I had already measured these. You got to calculate how big the hole's got to be to make sure that you're going to stretch across there and actually catch both pins. Now in this situation, if I use every bit of the tap, I should catch both sides of those pins, but the thing about it is if I don't catch both sides, then I'll have to drill into the pin, and I'll have to put a smaller pin inside of that, because otherwise I'll end up drilling that one out. Not an ideal situation. That's why I don't like doing it. I like to go from one end of the crack to the other. So we're going to mark this a little a little further out this time. So we're going to mark right in the crack. We're going to mark right about in the center of that to drill this hole. Okay. All right. Now if you notice, that hole's just barely touching the other side of that pin. So I think we're going to be okay. When we're touching on this side, we're almost touching on that side, and I think by the time we get the tap through there, we're going to be fine. But this is something you need to pay attention to, because, you know, had it been all over here and then it left a gap there, well, you're going to have to put something there. You're going to have to put a pin there. And I mean, you're going to have to put a really small hole there and put a small pin in that. Otherwise, you're going to end up compromising this pin here. That's why I don't like to drill them on both ends. So unless you're using the lock and stitch, which has the fixture, and it'll you know, you can know where you're going to end at. Where the damn tap go? I've lost the tap. Son of a bitch. Where are you tonight? Why did you leave me here all alone? I searched for a rover, thought I found you. You let it over. All right now. You couldn't have got very far. Well, shit, I'll be back. I gotta find the tap. I don't know what it is. Why didn't y'all tell me I put this tap in my pocket? Alright, I got you in on close up. Now you can see what I'm talking about. How close that edge is right there. It's gonna run into the other pin here. But now you understand what I'm talking about. So after all of this is about, let's see, going on 4 hours worth of work here. More like 3. Can't count the camera stuff. I had to set up all that too. So, I know y'all are going, well, I wasn't spending that kind of time on those junky ass 400s. Well, the thing is, this is a pretty good block other than these 2 cracks. It's centered good. Good 4-bolt main. It's just a nice piece other than these cracks. And 400 blocks are getting really hard to find. And I mean, if you're trying to do a budget 400, well, you know, you could spend the money on a SHP block, I guess. But what I'm charging to fix this crack is nowhere near what a SHP block would cost. So, not to mention, it's all original. The man wants to keep your truck original, so original looking. So I get it. And this thing will run up and down the road from now on with this. Won't have no problems. That's all. We are into that pin, I can see. Whoa, shit. There went the tap again. Can't hang on to nothing. Okay. We are in the side of that pin there. I'm going to go a little bit deeper. Oh yeah, we're into that side of that one. Just fine, just fine, just fine. Barely. Oh yeah, that looks hearty. Okay. So we're going to put this last pin in here, and then we're going to stick the freeze plugums in. Then we're going to stick the freeze plugs in, and then we're going to pressure test this thing, and we're going to see if it leaks. Hopefully not. And then we'll make this a part one. I'm getting that shit everywhere. Okay. All right. Repair complete. So, I'm going to knock some freeze plugs in this thing, and I'll be right back, and we will pressure test them. Okay, so I'll grind all these down, but let me go ahead and put some freeze plugs in here and we'll be back. Okay, so we're back on this thing. I managed to find all my pressure testing stuff. Misty had stolen my air pump. This is what I use. Now, this thing does have a small leak right here at the end of this hose. Right there. As you can see. But I've pressure tested this thing. We're going to put about 20 pounds in it. So we got about 20 pounds in it right now. I'm going to check all the cylinders. I'm checking our repair, which I'm going to show you here in just a minute. This is just fine. I'm going to check the intake valley. I'm going to flip it upside down. So far I'm not seeing anything. So other than the leak right here. Now we've lost about a pound from this little leak right here. Check the bottoms of these cylinders. Nothing there. Okay, now I'm going to check our repair here. I've already checked it. We're going to check it. Camera for you guys. Ah, shit, it's heavy. my torque plate on there. Now I'm going to tell y'all something. If you ever pressure a block up, don't put more than about 25 pounds on it, and I wouldn't even put that much. I had a friend that was in this business doing, working on a motor. He was trying to pressure test a motor, and he put like 60 pounds on a motor, and a freeze plug blew out and hit him in the chest, and it killed him instantly. So don't put more than about 25 pounds. It don't run more than 20 pounds. Don't put more than 20 pounds. So we'll get you guys up here where you can see the repair that we did. It's hard for me to see in this little bitty screen on this stupid thing. Okay, so there's our repair. I'll zoom late into it. I think y'all can see it there. Alright, so that's, I don't know if y'all can see that or not, but that's 21. Come on, camera. That's 20 pounds right there. And we're going to spray this. And we have absolutely no leaks. So our repair was successful. Now, I'm going to make this a part 1 because I have to fix this other crack on the other side. We'll make it a part 2. Alright guys, so I will see y'all back maybe tomorrow with part 2 on this 400 block, and then we're going to get to building it. Now I am going to smooth all this out. I'll show you all that in part 2. I'll smooth this out and I'll make it where you won't even be able to see it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope somebody learned something. If you don't like it, I don't care. Don't troll me, because I'll just delete the comment anyway. I've been in this business for over 30 years now, and I can tell you that repair right there will work just fine. Is it worth it? You're damn right it's worth it on a small block 400, because you cannot find small block 400s anywhere. Alright guys, so we had a successful repair there. Now, you know, if you took this and had this done, most machine shops are going to charge you. I mean, that's a pretty pricey repair right there these days, because of the time it takes. The repair pins are not that expensive. But I will tell you what you can do. You can go to Regis. This is easy. Anybody can do this. It's not rocket science. You can go to Regis Shop Supplies or Goodson, and you can buy those repair pins, and you can buy the taps. Now, the taps, I haven't bought any in a while, but they're about $100 a piece. But if you're trying to save, say, a block or something, I mean, and it costs you $100 for a tap, well, you've always got the tap if you don't break it, and you can repair lots of other stuff. Now, the pins won't do structural repairs. You can repair cracks like in valve seats, you know, this type of crack here. And the way that, I don't know if I explained this, but the way the pins work is that they're tapered. It's got a tapered thread, so it acts like a pipe plug. And so anyway, that's how it works. So you can buy these pins. I think you can actually buy these and the taps on Amazon. Now don't quote me on that. I'm not sure, but I know you can buy them at Regis. That's where I buy my stuff, is at Regis and Goodson. Regis is here in Dallas. So I will give you the numbers on these if you would like to have them. So the number on the smaller tap is a TST-200, okay? And that's the Regis number. These are made by Ironite. The number on the bigger tap that I use is a TST-235. Now, they sell bigger ones than these, but to be honest, that TST-235 and the TST-200 are probably going to be, they're the most used. You can pretty much fix anything with a TST-200. You're just going to use a lot more pins. So, the pins, the number of the pins, I don't remember the numbers. I'll put the link I'll put the description what the pin numbers actually are. I can't remember. I think they're 200s and 235s if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so you can buy these supplies yourself and do these kind of repairs. You can repair cylinder heads. I think I showed, in one of my other videos how you can repair cracks in cylinder heads with these. There's a lot you can do with them. Now, like I said, there is a learning curve with these things, and you got to be careful that you don't break your tap. So, anyway, I hope y'all learned something out of this. I'm going to do a part 2 tomorrow. By the way, you might be wondering how many pins did we actually use. These are all the broke off ones here. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 18 pins. They cost $1, well, or about $2 a piece. So you buy them by the box of 100. So, okay, also there's one more thing I want to cover. What I was talking about, where you can buy these. There's a company out there called Lock and Stitch. Look them up on the internet. They have a unique system that uses and I kept mentioning it during this video, they have a little fixture that allows you, and then you drill one hole, and then you take the fixture, you turn it around, put the pin in that hole, drill another hole. It keeps the spacing perfect, as long as your crack is straight. Now, if it's all over the place, it's a little harder to use. I do have Lock and Stitch set up. I'm out of Lock and Stitch repair pins, and I'll be honest with you, their stuff's pretty high. Great stuff. They have a great system, and they also have a system that their pins, actually, the way their pins are designed, their repair pins, they're designed to snap off at the top. You cannot break them. You actually put them in with a socket, basically. And the other thing is they have a repair pin that has a special thread on it that pulls the crack together. It's the way the threads are made. They hook in and they actually pull the crack together, and they work absolutely fantastic. The problem is they are expensive. So to do a repair like this, if I was to do a repair like this with those, I mean, it would be in the hundreds of dollars to do this. So Lock and Stitch, if y'all are out there watching and you want me to demo your products, I will be more than happy if you will send me some repair pins and whatever. But anyway, like I said, hope you guys learned something, or maybe you didn't. I don't know. You can leave me a comment if you want to, or not. I don't care. Just be nice. I don't like no assholes. I'll give you the boot. That's going to do it for this edition of the Mark and Misty Performance Show. Mark's Racing here at Mark's Racing Engines. I'll try to get some more videos out. I know I hadn't posted anything in a while. I've had some health issues. So, anyway, God bless. Y'all get out there and build something. Welcome back to Mark's Racing Engines, Mark and Misty's Performance. So today we have a controversial block repair. I'm going to have some of you guys in the haters section giving me nasty comments saying, that's not going to work, it'll never work. But I've done it a million times before. It's going to work. And I f***ed this up, so let's start it over. Just hit the slide button. The red button. Mark and Misty's Performance, take 2. welcome back to Mark's. Take 3.
Just leave it rolling.
No, I don't like to hit it all.